Well, good Sunday morning, everybody. It's Dave coming to you from the office here in the Wyoming house. It's coming up on noon. It's about quarter to noon Sunday. And I've already had a great day. Man, I had a good morning. So I'm going to take you through that. This is going to be a grab bag video. Just have a bunch of things I want to show you and talk to you about. I didn't make a video yesterday. So bear with me. First, though, tobacco related products or subjects, as always, the Wyoming Meerschaum. I did some investigation. The top of this inside the bowl had a fair amount of cake, so I took out my pocket knife and just scraped off the cake. I didn't ream it. I just sort of scraped it with my pocket knife. So because this is being really stubborn about coloring. I mean, it is colored a lot. That was Snow White a year ago, and it's pretty colored. But when you compare it to the back side of the stem and then the bottom of the bowl, I want this to keep going. So I did that. But what is in the pipe is something different. I've got Edwards Scottish Moor. I bought this maybe a year ago and I've stored it in the bag so it's crispy, it's tender dry. But anyway, it smokes pretty well. I use Johnny Onion's method of I pack it in dry, blow through it a little bit, lights, smokes great. I have no complaints. So Edwards Scottish Moor. I know I bought this. I can remember buying it. Several of you recommended it. I can't remember where I got it. I mean, Edwards, obviously, but I don't remember buying it. But anyway, it sat here long enough. I wanted to get it into the bowl. I smoked a bowler of it yesterday, and I really enjoyed it. It tastes pretty pure. I can't tell if it's just burley or if there's other things mixed in with it. When you look at it, it looks like it's got several components to it. But it tastes pretty good, pretty simple. Certainly not sweet, so I'd say there's no toppings or casings on it, but I really enjoy it. So there is tobacco part 1, but I have a part 2 for you today. So part 2 is the warped Scarecrow. So I saw a bunch of you talking about it, and so it seems readily available still. They let me buy 8 tins, so I put 8 tins here in Wyoming, and I put 8 tins in Maryland because it had been out for a few weeks. So I didn't feel like I was stealing it or getting in front of anybody. So still available. They were just limiting it to 8 tins per purchase per day. So when they do that, I buy 8 tins for here, and then a day or two later, I buy 8 tins for Maryland. So I actually smoked this yesterday, and it was way different than I expected. I had heard it was an aromatic. It comes in a plug or cake, basically a brownie. This one's been probably 2/3 cut. I've got a little bit that I cut and rubbed out yesterday, but I was handing this out. I had 2 or 3 buddies at the lounge that were pipe smoking, and they wanted to try something different, and they're fairly new to it. So I said, well, you know what? You should smell this and give it a shot. And pretty much everybody loved it. There was actually an essence of candy corn. I mean, I know this sounds ridiculous, but it's sweet. It's a little bit of chocolate, but I can actually smell and taste candy corn. It actually leaves a sweetness on your lips and your mouth when you smoke it. It's really good, but if you're not an aromatics guy, I would leave this one alone. Like Potter Piper, I would run away from this. Anyway, I just thought that was good. So Scottish Moor and Warped Scarecrow are on the agenda today. that pretty much ends the tobacco portion of this. I'm going to move on and talk to you a little bit about being a Wyoming man, show you around the property and what I've been doing. So that's what, so this ends the tobacco portion. We'll head into the real life portion now. So this first part of real life is winter has started to muscle in here a little bit. So I wanted to show you some couple of pictures and a couple of videos. So I'm going to show you first snow. I'm going to show you the temperature. I'm going to show you one of the first real hard freezes we had here, the back front of the house and the back of the house. Then I'm going to show you a couple of night shots. These are, I'll put captions on them so you can see them, but these are actually, you probably won't believe it, but these are moon shots. We had full moon. It was the biggest, brightest full moon I think I've ever seen. So I actually took some full moon night pictures, and frankly, they look like day, but I wanted to show them to you. So winter's starting to muscle in here. Here's sunrise Saturday morning. Get some nice color coming up. Just as I show you, had a hard freeze last night. Show you it's 19 degrees out this morning. Show you some more of the freeze last night. You can see it out there. Mountain sticking out, a little mountain, morning mountain time. Beautiful sunrise, my favorite time of day. So the next thing I want to show you is Sasha. She does not like getting up at 5 in the morning. So when I come up here and sit down here and do my paperwork and training everything, she slips into Sean's room and jumps up and finishes her night's sleep on his bed. So that's this next photo. And then this morning we had a female mallard duck land in the pond and just swim around. Couldn't have cared less about her, but the video is Sasha trying to figure out what to do about a duck in her pond. So that's kind of cute. So that's what's coming up next. So this is Sasha trying to figure out what to do about that duck out there, mallard duck, I believe. He's not sure what to do about this. All right, so the next thing is I took 4, 5, 6 days off, but I'm back on manual labor patrol now, and I'm cleaning up piles. And so I just want to show you the next couple videos here are just little clips of before I cleaned up the piles and after I've cleaned up the piles. I've got the front half of the front side of the house is completely clean and even swept. It looks beautiful. I even got last year's logs out of there, and then I got the right side of the house is done. That's the side with the power box and the generator. And you even turn the corner and done about, I don't know, a couple piles off the back side, but all the stumps are gone. It's all loaded up. And then I actually show you what it looks like out back where I'm actually putting all this stuff. So I'm creating two pretty neat stacks. A stack of all my burn, and you'll see that. And then you see my stack that I'll be splitting with a log splitter. I don't know if I'll be doing that this trip or not. The log splitter's ordered, it's shipped, but I don't have a delivery date for it. But for now, probably for the next 5 to 10 days, it's pile cleanup. That means everything will be away from the house. I'm pretty proud of it. It's looking pretty good. So anyway, that's what's coming up next. All right, guys, so the front of the house is all cleaned up now. That monster 3-tree pile has been all cleaned up. I even swept. Just looks good. Then I had last year's really waterlogged logs piled up here. They dried out nicely, so I've put them back on the splitting pile in the way back. The front of the house looks nice and clean. The next job is clean up this pile and that pile of logs back there. So that's what's next on the agenda. It's Sunday morning, 10 o'clock-ish. Alright guys, so you can see the truck's loaded up and I'm out in the way back now, so you can see the guest house right here and you can see the main house way back there. But I'm in the very back of the property. I'm down by the creek. So I'm building not a fire pile. In fact, my truck is sitting on the fire pit. That's where I burn. What I'm building up is a ring. So I'll pull things onto the fire. It's too much. There's gonna be way too much material to burn a burn pile. So I will be managing the fire little by little by pulling that stuff into the fire. And this is my wood splitting stack. So this is where I'll continue to stack, that kind of wood. I got a splitter coming in, so we'll do some hydraulic splitting here. Maybe not this year. We'll see when it gets here and what the weather does. Right now the priority is get these piles away from the house and out here. All right, here's load number 2. These are heavy bastards. Holy crap. It'd be nice to let these guys age. It'll be much easier to split and stack once they sat out here for a year. All right, end of the workday, Sunday morning. There's the burn pile. Pretty nice and neat. You always stack them stem out. It's easy to burn. And then my log splitting pile grew a little bit today. Some big heavy bastards here on the end. Good day. There's the burn pit right in the middle. Good morning. All right, guys, so this pile got moved. And then, in fact, this whole side of the house is clean. So now the front is done and this side is done. And in fact, we were able to get around the back here a little bit. So kind of got this cleaned up all the way past the hot tub. Had a monster pile here. So tomorrow, Monday, we start going after the other side of the hot tub, all those piles right there. But place looks good. Way better without all the piles around. All right, so I think the next up is a little fire update. Most of you know we had 2 days of weather out here. So we had 2 days essentially of rain, sleet, a little bit of snow. And last night the fire guys did an operational update saying that the snow and they basically got snow up on the fire, and they received enough. It knocked it down enough that the fire crews are now confident they can keep the fire in its current boundaries. That there'll be no more growth. In fact, they've released almost all the evac notices. They've turned off everybody who was on ready or set, and anybody who was evac'd, I think they're letting back into their homes now. So pretty much a pretty good story. So it'll probably be weeks before the fire is either status is out or smoldering. But it felt really good to watch that update video, the operational update last night, and find out that they're now 100% confident that the fire will not grow beyond its current boundaries. That means it will not get closer than the 10 miles that northwest corner of the fire still is. They get flare-ups. They had 3 5-foot flames in several places, but they'll knock it back down yesterday. So the weather the next couple of weeks, although cold, and the sun is we lose 3 minutes of sunlight a day here, and the sun is much lower in the sky than it used to be. So the cooler weather, the shorter days, and the sun at a more of an angle helps the firemen as they briefed yesterday. So kind of all positive. The weather, though, is going to get a little bit ugly. It's going to get windy. It's going to get slightly warmer, and it's going to, apparently the relative humidity is supposed to drop back down into somewhat dangerous levels, and that's for the next 2 weeks as far as I can tell. But it's still a positive story, and that is, although it is still there and still alive, it is now pretty much under control and should not grow in any direction. So that is a pretty fabulous story. All right, guys, that kind of wraps up my video update. I just want to touch base and put out a video. I kind of like doing daily videos. I like giving you daily updates. God, my life is great. Lauren is back down in Sarasota now. Her school will start back up tomorrow. So she's where she belongs. I think she's safe. Hurricane season's coming to a close. I don't see anything in the hurricane reports that shows really anything that's going to threaten Florida over the next few weeks, and that means we pretty much are done with that, I hope, for the season. Fire's under control. I'm not confident I will get all of the piles picked up around the house, get that all stored in the back like you saw in the video, and then I may even have time to limb and buck the big huge trees that I've chained off to the sides. So I feel really good. I got the log splitter on order. Just things couldn't be better. Sasha's doing great. She's got some teenager in her the last couple of days, so she's I had to get on her a few times, but she's a great dog, great companion. I love having her here. I love going downtown every day, seeing my guys. We have some great conversations, great cigars. We've had pipe days now. We have 1 or 2 pipe days a week. So life is good, guys. So I hope life's good for you. Hope you've had a good weekend. Hope you got a good week planned in front of you. And that's it. We will talk to you on the next one, probably tomorrow. Bye, you guys.